any sane living being, any person who understands the goal of life, Pandita, right? The main aim of such a Pandita is that he is dedicated towards understanding how do I get rid of this miseries, right? How do I make sure I actually am able to get out of this goal, right? And that's why people keep saying, oh, I'm actually very stressed, I don't know what to do. That's because they don't know the goal of life. Like I was talking to one of the senior managers in KPIT, and he was saying, actually, I told him, I'm actually planning to set up another session of convert stress to smiles. Last year we started this, so I thought we'll start with another series. And he said, actually, you know what? I want somebody to give some motivation talk to my team. I said, why? Because everybody is frustrated. They're saying, yeah, sir, कुछ काम नहीं है, क्या करेंगे बैठ के बोर हो गए, कुछ काम दो, कुछ मजा नहीं आ रहा है. So I said that is not the root cause. The root cause is because the salaries are reduced. People do not want to. They are getting frustrated, and they are thinking कि if you give them full 100% salary and ask them to sit at home, they will not mind. They will not say कि बोर हो रहा है. कोई बात नहीं. जब काम आए तब काम दो. But salary देते रहो. That's all there. If you do not provide salary, that becomes the root cause. Because if I don't get money, how will I enjoy? Right? Like that. So, like that, people actually, because they do not know the real aim of life, they are actually getting frustrated in their life. Also, I heard so many people saying, oh, this lockdown is actually bringing a lot of stress. The number of, in US, the number of distress calls, they do an anonymous distress call. They have increased multifold. Why? Because people they cannot take up loneliness. Most of them are lonely at their home, and they are not nowhere to go, so they cannot take it, and that's why they're getting frustrated because there is nothing else to look forward to. Okay? If you take out spirituality, how long can material things fulfill our desires? You can't. It is hardly any happiness to you. Like if you think my pura lockdown movies dekhungi, right? Now, how long can you see movies? After 4, 5, 6 movies, you'll get bored. You'll think, right? Like that, a material thing is actually bringing a lot of repetitiveness, monotonicity, right? And that monotonity actually doesn't give any happiness. Right? Only spiritual things, spiritual activities, like let's say if you read Bhagavad Gita every day half an hour, right? You get so much happiness because you're getting so much knowledge and it is going to the heart and it is actually connecting to who you are. But the same thing, if you read any other novel, right, only for a few days you'll get happiness. But after some days, you'll get bored. You'll think, like that. Krishna is giving the definition of Pandita. Pandita is a person who knows, who is really knowledgeable, who understands what is aim of life. Okay, let's go to the 2.12. Okay, it's a bit slow, so I just read it from the book. And on top of that, our quota time is there. So in 2.12, Krishna is saying, never was there a time I did not exist, nor you, nor all these kings, nor in the Krishna being given. Saying, ऐसा कभी नहीं था कि तुम नहीं थे, मैं नहीं था, ये राजा नहीं. ऐसा पहले कभी नहीं था. I'm not talking only about this life. He's talking about eternality. He's saying, पहले के जन्मों में भी हम लोग थे, तुम भी थे, ये राजा लोग भी थे. And even in the future will continue to be present. So what does it mean? We talked about it last time. Basically, it means that this eternal spirit part, after we part with this body, after we are dead, we'll again take another birth, and we'll go to. It will depend how we take the birth, but we take another birth and we live another life. Like this is going on. This is going on for the last millions and millions of years, right? And I give the reason as well why it is happening. Right now, this is happening because we want to independently enjoy. When we are able to remove the desire and fill that desire with service to Krishna, then we will go back to where we came from. Right? So we spoke about that. Basically, we came from the spiritual world, is Vaikuntha, Golok, Vrindavan. And why we came because we enjoy from Krishna. We thought, nahi, I enjoy Krishna. Tum bahut enjoy kar raha hai. We both. Let's be enjoyable. Krishna created a different world, a material world, where we are trying to. How we are all eternal souls. What do you mean by eternal souls? Eternal souls mean, and again Krishna is going to speak about that later in the part as well, that we will continue to exist. We will never die. So if we don't die, then how do we die? People die, correct? A lot of people die due to corona. That is only their body is dying. They are actually not dying. The soul is not dying. The actual body is dying, a person, but the soul is not dying, right? Like that. So that is the definition of this shloka. Let's go to the next, which is the actual shloka we will be discussing today. In continuation of the information of soul, Krishna is saying, as the embodied soul continuously passes in this body from boyhood to youth to old age, the soul similarly passes into another body at time. A sober person is not bewildered by such a change. Very interesting. So, the soul, which is in the heart of every living being, it is the soul, which is in the heart of every living being. It is actually passing through different phases of life, from boyhood to youth to old age. So when we were a small child, so let's take an example. Let's take Shivangi's example. So Shivangi, when she was, let's say 1 year or 2 years old, she had a body. And, now if you look at Shivangi, she's grown up. If you see the photos, and I've given this example before as well. If you look at the photos of, Shivangi when she was old, when she was, young or baby, and now when she's young, right? It is total, and she also be able to tell that her body has completely changed from what she was when he was in a childhood. Correct? It's totally different. It's not the same. Same with everybody. It's not only Shivangi. All of us actually have gone through the transformation, and we don't even remember how our body was, right? Just looking at the photos we can, but not exactly in this body, right? So what? And then again, after this, youth, we'll go to old age. But the person remains the same, which means, for example, Shivangi after 35, 30 years old, right? She'll start getting old, and or at least let's say 40 years from now. So now after that, Shivangi is the same. Person is not changed, correct? The likes, dislike might change. Her activities, she might have probably, after 30 years, she might, right? She might have grandkids, right? You never know which she will have. Now the point here is, after that happens, all of us will actually grow old. All of us will actually do not want to become old, but we will become old, and which means the body has changed. But the person, Anand or Shivangi or Mrinal or Rutuja, Saili, all of us are actually going to be the same person, correct? We will not change. Our likes and dislikes might change, but as a person, I remain. That is why I can understand that I am a soul and not a body. Very, very, very basic understanding and very easy to understand. I am changing my body continuously. You can observe that as well, right? Like I can observe now. I'm getting into now 40s, mid 40s now. Correct? 44. I'm 40. And when I was 20 years old, I could, play for hours and hours. But now, the body is, I know the body is actually changing. It is deteriorating slowly. Right? The hairs are started to maximize into gray. Some part it is vanishing. So what does it mean? The body is changing. Correct? But I, as a person, has not changed. I am the same person. I am not changed. I remember when I was a childhood in the school. I remember when I was in college. I remember when I took my first job. I remember when I went to US the first time in 1999. Right? Everything I remember, which means I am the same person. I am not changed. My likes and dislikes are changed. In 1999, when I went to the US, I was enamored by everything. Saying, "Wow, kya hai ye?" Right? First time I saw an ATM machine in the US. So these things actually might change, but I as a person is the same thing. I have not changed at all in terms of the person. Right? My likes, dislike could change, my hobbies could change, my friends could, so many things could change. But I am as a person, like Shivangi as a person, Mrinal as a person, Saili as a person, they are not changed. Correct? What does it show? What it shows is we are the same person. And we, which is the soul remains constant, but the body changes. Similarly, when the body is, the soul leaves the body, which is basically we call it death. And actually, death is nothing but the soul leaving this body and taking another body, like we change clothes. Right? It is not such a big thing actually. Only thing is the soul doesn't want to leave the body. Why? The soul doesn't want to leave the body because the soul is attached to the body. For example, you're going in a train. Let's say you go from here to Patna. Right? So Shivangi is for Patna, right? She goes to Patna on a train. And the train journey is, I think, 24 hours, if I'm not wrong. But she books a sleeper coach, AC sleeper coach, and she's sitting there. And somebody comes and sits in Shivangi's, seat. Hey, mera seat hai, right? Now she is going to be on the seat only for 24 hours maximum, but she's going to be attached to the seat. Koi bhi wahan pe aake baithega, so she will not be happy with that. She wants the seat because she's booked. Obviously, she's given money, but she's attached. Similarly, when the soul lives in this body for about 70, 80, 90 years old, it is going to get attached. It gets used to with this body, and it is thinking, yeah, this is I am. That is what the soul starts thinking through the mind. The actual root cause is the mind. The mind is thinking, my body hu, my yahi hu, right? That's why all the problems are there. If you understand, if you clarify the mind, if you remove the dirt from the mind, then when you understand I'm not this body, I'm a soul, then actually there is no problem. You can be actually as happy as anybody who is spiritually enlightened. Right? But to come to the stage, it takes some time. It is not that you just listen to discourse and you'll be able to clear. But that is the stage where you want to go, because when we assume that we are a body, all the trouble starts. All our miseries in life are because we are assuming we are this body. That's it, nothing else. And we want to enjoy separately from God. Right? As soon as you admit that you are not this body, you are a soul, and this body is nothing to do with you other than the fact that you've taken a birth now. Right? Then you are actually going to be one of the most happiest person, because you realize this is not all in all. Whatever happens in this life is not all in all, right? Like that. So this shloka actually clearly states, and another scientific evidence for this is, if you observe, you can do Google on this, you can check with any doctors. Every 7 years, like, as you know, our old cells die and new cells are coming up, correct? Similarly, every 7 years, all the old cells, for example, today's or now it is 2020, correct? In 2027, by 2027, right? 7 years from now, whatever cells we have now, all of them would die and new cells will be born, right? Which means the body is totally changed. It is continuously, not continuously, continuously changing. It is totally changed from what it is now. That is another proof that our body is continuously changing, but we as person do not change. People go through heart transplant. People go through lung transplant, kidney transplant, correct? There even body changes. I'll use some examples in the Shastras where people's content completely changed, but the person remains the same. The person does not change, which means we are not this body. It's a very, very clear-cut, understanding of philosophy. This is the basic philosophy of Bhagavad Gita. If you understand this, then you will be able to understand Bhagavad Gita very nice. Otherwise, you will struggle, right? So basic philosophy is we are not this body. How? Because this body is continuously changing, but I as a person remain the same. My emotions remain the same. When I was a small child, the connection with my parents is the same which I have now. I remember my parents. I used to remember them in the childhood as well. I am the same person who is conscious of this body. But in the childhood, I had different likes and dislikes. I used to play with cricket. I used to play football. I used to study. But now my occupation has changed. But I am the same person, right? That is not changed, right? Like there is an example in the Shastras in Mahabharata that there is one king called as Vishwaparva, and he had a daughter named Sharmishtha, and Shukracharya was a Brahmin. His daughter's name was Devyani, right? Now these both were friends, Devyani and Sharmishtha, So they were playing one time near a lake or a well, and sorry, they were actually playing in a lake, and they were without their clothes, and they were, and from that route, Lord Shiva and Parvati were passing by. So as soon as they saw Lord Shiva and Parvati, they immediately put on their clothes because they were. So by mistake, Sharmishta took the clothes of Devyani, right? And Devyani was a Brahmin, and at that time the caste system was very what do you call it, strictly followed, right? Devyani, who was a Brahmin girl or a Brahmin's daughter, she was very angry. She said, "Look, what is happening? No, a Kshatriya is thinking she's great and she's taking my clothes." So she was very proud that she's Brahmin's girl daughter. That's why she started insulting Sharmishta. Sharmishta, who was the daughter of the king, right? She also became very. Um, um, she also started cursing. So there was, insults and curse between both of them, right? So Sharmishta, she actually took Devyani and she threw her into the well, right, which didn't have any water, and she went back to her palace, right? Devyani was crying for help, but nobody was there. So then, after some time, a king passed by. His name was Yayati. He came and he looked into the well. Some noise was coming. So he stretched his hand and pulled her out, right? And he saved her. And when he got attracted towards this king, Yayati, she said, "Look, my king, you have touched me first of all, and thank you for saving me. But I have, actually got desire to marry you." And the king said, "But looking at you, you look like a Brahmin girl. And in the Shastric Vedic scriptures, a Brahmin girl cannot marry a Kshatriya king, right? Because that becomes a demotion, right?" So I'll explain this part sometime later when we go to fourth chapter, why there is caste system and why it was introduced and why it is important. So right now I know it is all topsy turvy, and currently whatever is happening in the US also is not right. But for the time being, just ignore this fact. I'll explain exactly why it is technically it was correct system, right? Anyways, so Devyani said, no, I want to marry you, and let's go to my father. They went to their father. Shukracharya was a Brahmin. He was well versed in the Vedas. He said, "No, there are some exceptions, so we'll take an exception." Right? Like you have an exception in your code, like that. They took an exception and they got married. Right? Now, during that time, Devyani also told Shukracharya that I am actually, I was insulted by the king's daughter. She actually put me in the well, and Shukracharya was very angry. Shukracharya immediately went to the king. And because he was a Brahmin, the king was very afraid of Shukracharya, because Brahmins had, great powers earlier. If to just give you an example of power of Shukracharya, when Bali Maharaj and Indra were fighting, and Bali was killed, Bali Maharaj, who was the grandson of Prahlad, he was killed in the battle. They are from the demonic families. Shukracharya, using Amrita Sanjeevani, actually brought all the demons alive. He used his Amrita Sanjeevani. So he was so strong, right? And he's also very learned in the Shastra. His name also comes in the Bhagavad Gita, Usit Kavi. So Shukracharya went to king's palace, and king came to know about this, and he immediately came out and he paid the obeisance. And he said that, look, my Brahmin, Shukracharya, Guru Maharaj, I want to ask forgiveness. So before even Shukracharya got angry, he paid obeisance and he asked forgiveness, because he was angry. He was afraid. If he curses and I die, what will happen to me? So Shukracharya said, "That's okay. You ask for forgiveness, but your daughter has offended my daughter. So whatever I say, she should be doing it." And the king said, "Yeah, whatever you say, I'm agreed to do." So Shukracharya's daughter Devyani said that I want her to become my maid servant. She was very angry with her. So that's why she said Devyani married Yayati king, and Sharmishta, who was the king's daughter, became the maid servant of Devyani. So look what fate can do for you. Nasib mein jo dekha hota hai, wahi hota hai. Although she was the king's daughter, she became a maid servant of her friend, who is Brahmin. Brahmins are generally poor. So they went both to King Yayati's palace, and they were living peacefully. So when this marriage had happened, then Devyani, who was married to Yayati, told Yayati, look, she's my maid servant, but you are not supposed to have any relationship with her. Right? Because earlier what used to happen is the king used to marry multiple queens, right? And again you might ask ऐसे कैसे भेदभाव क्यों है? I'll talk about it sometime later. Okay? But the crux of the matter is, or the essence of the matter is, at that time the female population was higher, and that's why the males could do that, right? Especially Kshatriyas, Brahmins, and other community would not. Right? So, anyways, so that she gave a warning कि उसके साथ कुछ relationship नहीं रखना, पहले बता दूँ. तो ठीक, कोई बात नहीं. So they started living peacefully. Now, secretly, Yayati had a relationship with Sharmishta. बोला फिर भी नहीं माना. Right? We had a relationship, couple of childs. Yayati. And when Devyani came to know about it, she was so mad. She immediately left the palace and went to Shukracharya. And she told his father, Papa, देखो, बताने के बाद भी. And Shukracharya was really angry. And he cursed Yayati कि तूने मेरे लड़की के साथ धोखा किया. इसलिए तू he immediately cursed him that you will become an old person. And this guy immediately became old. Yayati. Very, young king. And he was now crying tears. बोला कि यार अभी तो शादी हुआ है मेरा, अभी तो I started enjoying. I'm not completely enjoyed with your wife. Your wife will also not be able to enjoy because I am old. क्या कर रहे हो तुम लोग? This is not good. So he started begging forgiveness. So Shukracharya said, हाँ वो तो सही है. So he said, I cannot take back the curse because एक बार शाप दिया तो दिया, वापस तो नहीं ले सकते. So I'll give you an option that you will be able to trade your age with somebody. Exchange कर सकते हो. Exchange offer. So Yayati asked his sons, 4 sons थे उसको. He asked everybody, can you trade age with me? Nobody would like to, right? किसको बूढ़ा बनना अच्छा लगेगा? Nobody said no, हमको नहीं करना. तुमको ऐश करने का इसलिए हमको बूढ़ा कर रहे हो, हम नहीं करेंगे. But the younger son Puru, he said, I'll agree. He was disciplined and he was, he agreed to what his father said. He never actually did. He immediately took the old age and he gave his young age. You might say, yeah, it's possible. I told you this, right? Prahlad Maharaj's mother kept Prahlad in his womb for millions of years, thousands of years, not millions, 10,000 years. Right? When Hiranyakashipu was performing his tapasya, because she didn't want to give birth when the demigods were there around, right? Or Sukdev Goswami was in his mother's womb. So, ये possible है. Even Gandhari, when she came to know that Kunti is given birth for child, and she wanted her child to come first because she knew जो पहला बच्चा आएगा वो राजा बनने वाला बाद. She actually hit her womb very severely, and the lump of and then Vyasdev put all of them in different containers, 100 containers, and then 100 sons were born. तो ये पावर पहले वाले लोगों में था, अभी नहीं है. तो हमको लगता है कि नहीं, पता नहीं क्या कुछ तो स्टोरी है. नहीं, it is all real life. It is just that we cannot believe in this power, right? Like earlier, people used to climb Siangad Fort or Defraigad Fort without any these things. They easily cross because they had, like, people could travel for days and days without having any food or, right? So they had the powers. अभी नहीं है. But we cannot say कि नहीं, तो ये कुछ तो झूठ बोल रहे हैं, ऐसा कुछ तो बोल रहे हैं. नहीं. Just because we have not seen it, just because we have not experienced, we can't say that. Anyways, so this story you can understand. Yayati obviously enjoyed for 1,000 years, for about 100,000 years. So he lived for 1,000 years. He enjoyed in that body, and उसके बाद उसको लगा कि नहीं यार बोर हो गया, क्या है और कितना enjoy करूं. And I will trade my old age back with my son, and I'll take there I do this stuff, right? Anyways, so the point here I was driving was Yayati in his old age he traded his body. Young का बूढ़ा बन गया और बूढ़े को वापस young, right? But the person remained the same. Yayati did not change. Yayati became old and he became young again, but the person did not change. Right? Like that, there's another story I have to. You will understand by this. Basically, what it is meaning is body change, but person is the same, correct? Like that. So Krishna is saying in this shloka as well कि देखो भाई, तुम बोल रहे हो कि तुम्हारे सारे स्वजन मर, पर एक्चुअली मरने नहीं वाले, मर के उनको और एक शरीर मिलने वाला है। दे आर नॉट गोइंग टू एक्चुअली बी गोइंग एनीवेयर, उनको अलग शरीर मिलने वाला है। अच्छा, तो जो बूढ़े हो गए अभी, ये बूढ़े शरीर को कुछ काम, उनको मारोगे तो उनको और एक शरीर मिल जाएगा नया, अच्छा वाला। दिस इज व्हाट कृष्णा वांट्स टू ड्राइव फ्रॉम दिस एग्जांपल, राइट? ओके, देयर इज अनदर स्टोरी, दिस इज वेरी इंटरेस्टिंग। बोले ऐसे कैसे हो सकता है? वन टाइम देयर इज Manu and Vaivasvat Manu and Shraddha, with one husband and wife, king and queen. They didn't have a issue. Basically, उनके पास बच्चा नहीं था. So they started doing a yajna. Told the main priest कि हम यज्ञ करना है क्योंकि हमको. So the queen's desire was उसको लड़की चाहिए थी and king का desire था कि उसको लड़का चाहिए. The queen went and secretly told the priest कि मुझे लड़की के लिए जो भी यज्ञ करना है करो, लड़का के लिए मत करो. Okay? So the priest जो था उसने वैसे ही किया. And king का अंडरस्टैंडिंग क्या था कि राजा का अंडरस्टैंडिंग कि लड़का ही बनने वाला है, लड़का ही होने वाला है. So he was under that assumption. बट जब लड़की पैदा हुई तो गुस्सा हो गया. उसने जाके बोला कि वशिष्ठ मुनि क्या आपने किया ये? मुझे लगा कि आपको तो परफेक्ट करना आता है, आपने ऐसे कैसे गलती कर लिया? उसने तो बोला कि नहीं, हमने तो ये लड़के के लिए किया था. तो दे वेंट एंड आस्क्ड द प्रीस्ट हु वाज डूइंग द यज्ञ. प्रीस्ट ने बोला कि वो तो सही बोल रहे हैं आप, बट आपकी वाइफ ने आके मुझे बताया कि मुझे लड़की चाहिए. और राजा बोला आप क्या करें? तो वशिष्ठ मुनि बोला तो आप तो कुछ कर नहीं सकते, बट आई कैन प्रे टू लॉर्ड शिवा एंड ट्राई टू अरेंज फॉर समथिंग, राइट? तो वैसा करके गए, उन्होंने क्या किया, तो उसको चेंज करके लड़का बना दिया. ठीक है, तो वो लड़की का लड़का बन गई. तो उसका नाम पहले ईला था, उसको सुद्युम्न बन गया. अब उसका बैड लक देखो. सुद्युम्न देन गोज फॉर अ हंटिंग. उसके सोल्जर के साथ ही वेंट गोज फॉर हंटिंग. एंड व्हेन ही गोज फॉर हंटिंग, there is particular area near Kailash Mansarovar. In that area he goes. There's a particular garden where Lord Shiva and Parvati is sitting. Now, उसका history ऐसा है कि one time Lord Shiva and Parvati were sitting there and they were, private, the discussion चल रहा था कुछ तो. तो actually Lord Shiva is a great devotee of Krishna. He is visited by many devotees. Many people come there and visit him. So वैसे a lot of sages came there and visited, and they actually were sitting in a private discussion. And Parvati felt कि यार ये क्या है, आपके लोग, हम गेस्ट बहुत आते रहते हैं, दिस इज वेरी डिस्टर्बिंग, तो कुछ करो आप इसके लिए. तो उन्होंने क्या किया कि ये जो गार्डन है 1 किलोमीटर का रेंज, जो भी रेंज था, इसके अंदर जो भी आएगा उसका सेक्स चेंज हो जाएगा. जो मेल रहेगा तो फीमेल हो जाएगा, फीमेल रहेगा तो फीमेल ही रहेगा, बट मेल रहेगा तो फीमेल हो जाएगा. So that at least they will not feel, Parvati will not feel any awkwardness because of that. तो हाँ ठीक है, this is good. तो जैसे ही सुद्युम्न ने उस एरिया में गया, उसका घोड़ा, उसके सारे सोल्जर्स, ऑल ऑफ देम बिकम फीमेल्स. इसका बैड लक देखो, पहले फीमेल था, मेल बन गया, वापस फीमेल बन गया. देन वशिष्ठ हुआ महाराज, वशिष्ठ मुनि वापस दे वेंट टू लॉर्ड शिवा. बोले यार इसको पहले ही मैंने गलती से लड़की बन गई थी, उसको लड़का बना दिया, अब वापस लड़की बन गई है, क्या करें इसका? तो लॉर्ड शिवा ने बोला देखो भाई, इफ आई चेंज माय लॉजिक whatever that is in this area, my wife will not be happy. So I cannot change that, right? The only thing I can do is I can give some provision for you. कि हाँ क्या provision दे सकते हैं? He said for 3 months you will be girl, sorry 1 month, 1 month you will be girl, 1 month you will be boy. ऐसा उसका arrangement रहेगा, right? Like that. So anyways, उसकी उसमें उसका शादी हो जाता है. He also has a husband, he also has a wife. Complication है बहुत उसमें. And the praja is also not happy. He is the king, और एक महीना रानी है और एक महीना राजा, ये क्या है? They are totally not happy at all. Imagine करो ना, नरेंद्र मोदी 1 महीने के लिए मेल है और 1 महीने के लिए फीमेल है, कौन एक्सेप्ट करेगा? Nobody will, right? दीवार बोले क्या है? So anyways, so the point here I'm driving is, again, is the this person Ila and Suddumna, same names, same person. That person became a female and a male and female again, but the person remained the same. The person never changed. All the body changed, person did not change. Another story, and we'll end here. So there was a king named Sharyati, and his daughter's name was Shukanya, right? And one time they went to visit a muni called Chavan Muni, right? So this Chavan Muni, he was actually meditating in his ashram, and the king went and he was looking for the muni, but he couldn't find. And this Sukanya was very young, about 15, 16 years old, and she started exploring the area. and she saw there was one ant burrow, right? जो चींटियां बनाते ना burrow, वैसे एक burrow था, और उसमें से कुछ दो हीरो जैसे कुछ चमक रहे थे चीजें, दो होल्स थे उस burrow में, right? और उसमें से दो हीरो जैसे कुछ तो चमक हो रही थी. शी वॉज क्यूरियस, तो उसने क्या किया, एक छोटा सा कांटा लिया और उसको उसमें डाल दिया देखने के लिए क्या है. जैसे ही उसमें डाल दिया वहां से रक्त बहने लगा, ब्लड स्टार्टेड कमिंग आउट, एंड इमीडिएटली दी ऑल द सोल्जर्स हु हैड कम, द किंग, ऑल ऑफ देम हैड व्हाट यू कॉल कॉन्स्टिपेशन. मतलब सुसु आ रहा है बट नहीं कर सकते, पॉटी आ रहा है बट नहीं कर सकते, नो टोटल जैम हो गया, ट्रैफिक जैम होता है ना वैसे जैम हो गया. एंड किंग रियलाइज कुछ तो गड़बड़ हो गया, we have done some committed some mistake, and that's why this has happened. He immediately started forgiving, asking forgiveness from Muni, and he said कि कुछ ने कुछ किया है क्या. And then the Sukanya said कि मैंने ये गलती से कुछ किया है, ऐसे खून बह रहा है. And he offered obeisances and he asked forgiveness, and बोला कि भाई मुनि हमें माफ कर दो, कहाँ हो तुम. And then Chavan Muni came out. He was a very very old person, पूरा ऐसे चमड़े ऐसे नीचे ऐसे, you can say it's about. He was very very old person. He was actually performing austerities under the soil. जमीन के अंदर बैठ के कर रहा था, और उसके आंखें थी. He was looking through those this thing. So then the king was now very fearful. अभी ये मुनि वापस कर्ज कर देगा तो प्रॉब्लम हो जाएगा यार. तो he said कि we forgive, please forgive us. तो आप देखो, this old guy Chavan Muni, and this is the same guy on which the Chavanprash is there. Jhandu ka tha na, Jhandu ka Chavanprash. This is from this. You'll come to know why it is called Chavanprash. The old guy, he started looking at the king and he said, "तुम्हारी लड़की का शादी हुआ है क्या?" He said, "तुम्हारी लड़की का शादी हुआ है क्या?" Which means basically, अगर शादी नहीं हुआ है तो मेरे साथ कराओ. Now the king is in a fix. हाँ बोलेगा तो प्रॉब्लम है, ना बोले तो प्रॉब्लम है. हाँ बोलेगा शादी हो गई है तो कहाँ झूठ बोला हो जाएगा, ना बोलेगा तो शादी करना पड़ेगा उसके साथ. And then the daughter will be marrying to such a old guy, but he had to use the truth. She said, no problem, I'll get my daughter married. Right? अपने लिए अपनी बेटी का, anyways उसकी गलती थी, उसको भुगतना पड़ा, तो उन दोनों की शादी हो गई. And she was serving very nicely. Although she got married to an old guy, she was serving very nicely. तो बहुत सालों तक सर्व किया उसने. And then later when Chavan Muni was very very happy, he called upon the Ashwini Kumar. Ashwini Kumar करके देवतास हैं. They are like doctors for demigods. So they came along, and Chavan Muni said कि मुझे कुछ भी करके जवान बना दो. And Ashwini Kumar said कि हम कर लेंगे, but we want that जब देवता लोगों में जो यज्ञ होता है उसमें से जो फल मिलता है, right? वो हमें नहीं मिलता है, because they consider us very lowly. तो आप कुछ तो करके वो हमको अरेंजमेंट दे दो. तो च्यवन मुनि ने बोला ठीक है, I will do that. Then Ashwini Kumaras created a lakes. There are two people, Ashwini Kumaras, who created a lake, and they इतना बुढ़ा था ये च्यवन मुनि कि वो खड़ा भी नहीं हो सकता था. He couldn't even walk properly. So they both had to pick him up and they dipped him in the sarovar, the lake. It was made up of you can say exilic बोलते हैं ना उसको. Basically it's a kind of अमृत जैसे बोल सकते हैं उसको, right? A liquid which actually rejuvenates you. So after they took a dip in the lake, all three people came out. और तीनों भी एक जैसे दिख रहे थे. They were so young, they were so youthful, and they were so illustrious. Opulent दिख रहे थे, इतना सुंदर दिख रहे थे कि ये सुकन्या बैठ के सोच रही इसमें से मेरा बुड्ढा किधर गया? Where is my husband? And she was not able to recognize. अभी इसमें देखो now you can understand the chastity of this lady. She did not say कोई बात नहीं, क्या तीनों तो सेम ही दिख रहे, कोई भी दे दो मुझे, ऐसा नहीं बोला उसने. She said, she asked the Ashwini Kumar, भाई इसमें से मेरा husband कौन है? Because I don't want to remain with anybody else. I want to remain with my husband. So they told her, this is your husband, and he became very young and started living. And then Ashwini Kumar को वो जो भी फल मिला था वो दे दिया च्यवन मुनि ने अपनी शक्ति से. After some time, Sharyati came, who is the father of Sukanya, and he saw कि एक जवान लड़का बैठा है, सुकन्या उसके बाजू में बैठी है. And ये सोच रहा है यार, मैं तो उसकी शादी बुड्ढे के साथ करके गया था, and this girl of my daughter is actually sitting with somebody else. So he started chastising her. तेरे को शर्म नहीं आती? मेरी पूरी जिंदगी, मेरे खानदान की इज्जत मिट्टी में जा रही है, तू शादी किसी और के साथ हुई है और तू घूम रही है किसी और के साथ. What is this? She started chastising and she started laughing. ऐसा नहीं है. She told the entire story. So then the entire story ended there. The point here I am driving is the same guy, Chavan ऋषि, जिसके ऊपर जो वो डुबकी लगा के, after taking a bath in the lake, he became very, very young and beautiful. From that person, this Chavanprash has come. उससे ये जो च्यवनप्राश आया है, basically च्यवनप्राश is like a medicinal herb. इसको खा के और we get lot of immunity. That is where it's coming from. Right? Chavan Muni, Chavanprash. So he also changed his body. Buddha था, young हो गया, but he is the same person. Right? So from these three stories, we can understand we change our body continuously because we are souls, but we remain the same. Similarly, when we give up this body during death, we take up another body. Which body we take, why we take, how we take, it all is a complicated theory. Theory nahi, complicated logic, which is governed by Yamaraj and Krishna to Durga Devi. And they govern basically based upon your karma, what activities you have done, what you deserve, what is your desire. All those factors are considered. And you take another birth. Okay, we'll take a pause here. If there are any questions, we can address. You can use the chat window if you don't want to unmute. If you want to unmute, you can also unmute. Any questions? Oh, sorry, I didn't look at the message. I think my voice was breaking. Was it okay after some time, or was it bad? Probably the internet connection is not great today. Okay, any questions? No questions? Okay, Ashwini is saying no questions. Okay, let me ask you a question in that case, and let me this will help me to understand how much you understood. You can use the chat window to reply. If there is an elixir like Chavanprash, right, and if it is, you have an option to keep yourself young, should you take that and remain young and remain in this world, or should you not do it? Right? What should you do? What would you like to do, or what should somebody do? You can type it in the chat window. If you are given an elixir, Amrit jaisa, Chavanprash jaisa, like Chavan Muni, and you can do that after, let's say, every now and then what will you do? Will you take that and say, nahi, koi problem nahi, main life, I will stay in this world only? Right? Okay. No, if your answer is no, then why? I think everybody is very quiet today. Are you able to hear me clearly? Just type in the chat window if you are able to hear me clearly. Yes. Okay, at least Ashwini is able to hear. I don't know about the others. Saili, Shivangi. Okay. Okay, so what is the answer to the question? Will you take the Chavanprash? Okay, Shivangi is saying no. Why not? What is harm in not taking it? In case you think it's too much to type, you can unmute and you can speak.
So Anand, Ashwini here.
Yes. Yes, Ashwini.
So this will stop our progress from one stage to another stage of life, right?
Okay, but you are able to keep your life, it's like being immortal, right? You will not die, kind of. What's wrong in that?
Then we will not be able to go on to the next stage and go back to where we came from.
That's the
we
answer.
Will keep suffering the miseries of this worldly life, right?
Correct.
Right. So let me explain a little bit more. When we were
Hmm.
young, we used to think, okay, in school, array, college is good, college is good. Then we
Yes.
went to college, so we understood that yes, this is also good, but there is something better in the next stage.
Yes. Yes.
So
It's
if
exactly.
we
Yes.
halt in one place, we will not be able to see what is good in the next stage and not experience it ourselves.
Yes. Yes. Correct. Yes. Shivangi is also given the same reason because your main goal is to join and reach God. For that, we need to die and leave this materialistic place. Very good. Yes. So basically, even if we get a very good body, the miseries are not going to change. Right? Although you might think old age nahi aayega, but other miseries are there. Right? Death is going to definitely come at some point of time. Also, diseases are going to come. Something or the other will be there. So that should not be aim. Our aim of life should not be extend our life or become beautiful or become healthy. Healthy is okay, and we want to remain healthy so that we can perform our activities. But that should not be the only goal in life. Our goal in life is to spiritually progress by reading Bhagavad Gita and by chanting. So we'll chant for a minute and then we'll close the session. जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर शिवासादि गौर भक्त वृंद हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम